Good afternoon, family. PA Big Rob on this Saturday. I used to be on Facebook on Saturday, but we are here joined by Dr. Dale Nesbary, president of Muskegon Community College, been in politics since the 70s. Man, been all around the world. This is what he do. How
Yes,
you
sir.
doing today? Yeah, how you
Hi,
doing, Rob? You good?
Big
Yes,
Rob,
sir.
what's going on? How you doing?
How you doing? You looking all awful dapper today, Doc.
Uh, obviously, I'm in my green and white on a Saturday afternoon, but we've got the MCC logo here too, so don't want
Right.
to forget about that.
Well, it's trending around the world. The news of Joe Biden, Kamala Harris being announced as a president-elect and vice president-elect. The news coming out of Pennsylvania. Dr. Dale, what are your thoughts?
Well, I'd say it's been an incredible last 3 or 4 months in the campaign, and for someone who follows this kind of issue relatively closely, it's a from my perspective, it's a good day. It's a good day.
He did post. He has made an announcement. Try to go to his Facebook page and see. Can I pull this up real quick? This is all impromptu. I got a flight to catch, but when this happened, I'm like, hold on. I get there on time. Um, Joe
Yeah, very
Biden
good.
posted, America, I'm honored that you have chosen me to lead our great country. The work ahead of us will be hard, but I promise you this, I will be a president for all Americans. Whether you voted for me or not, I will keep the faith that you have placed in me. And I think he had the America the Beautiful song playing on the video. Did we see this coming today, Dr. Dale?
More recently, I think we did. This has been a tough campaign. As you noted, I've been working on and around campaigns since 1976. So I was just a little guy right out of high school, but ever since I'd say the first Jimmy Carter campaign through Jim Blanchard, Governor Blanchard in Michigan, Mayor Ray Flynn in Boston, as a campaign worker, so seeing the ups and downs of campaigning. But yeah, this is something that I think we expected, but I think it was a lot closer than a lot of people thought, but for various reasons.
Right, right. Your degree is in public policy. So, as President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris started to take their role, how do we go about implementing some of this change? You mentioned racism, you mentioned police brutality, you mentioned climate change. Some of those entities. How do we make sure they go along and implement these policies? And I know it's going to be a struggle.
Oh yeah, they've got a long road to hoe, as we used to say. But I believe they can do it. I mean, if you look at the turnout, I mean that's what impresses me is that both President-elect now Biden and current President Trump uh, garnered more votes than any other political candidate running for president in the history of this country. So in Trump's loss, that's impressive. But it's even more impressive that you have a person who won the race by at least the pundits has won the race with could be 75 million votes, which is that's incredible. That's a big number. So he's going to have to use that record voter turnout and what looks to be about plus or minus 300 electoral votes to move his policies forward.
Well, Big Rob, your father is Jamaican, man. You've been to Jamaica. You've been to Bob Marley's museum. How does it feel for you, man?
Oh, it feels good, bro. You know, it is what it is. I wanted to see a change, and I guess we finally got it. I was so glad, more so than anything, that people got out and voted, and the record numbers. Even for Obama, these numbers were not reached.
Yeah.
I'm just so glad that people really got out and took to voting. Now, if we can keep this up every time there's an election, this country will be great.
Right, right. Doc, how do we find that balance? Because of course, it's not going to be easy for the president-elect Biden to implement some of these policies.
Well, I think what he needs to do is be true to his own spirit and to what he believes in. For myself, you mentioned my degree is in public policy. That's a PhD in public policy from Northeastern University. While I was working for Mayor Ray Flynn in Boston. And one of the reasons that I did this, one of the reasons I wanted to earn that degree is that, I like to, I'm not kidding anymore. I'm 65 years old. I'm an old guy. So my beard is a little bit grayer than Big Rob. So I've been around, but if you
but it
want to
looks
think
good. Makes
Yeah.
you look like you're about 40.
Right.
Man, I appreciate that. I tell that to my back. My back is crying the blues. But being 65 years old, you all know Ruby Bridges and her experiences as the first African American student in an elementary school in the South. We're exactly the same age. Exactly the same age. So when people ask me what I think about these kinds of issues and how important it is, it's critical to me. Hence, again, one of the reasons I went through school and did what I did and earned the degrees that I did is I wanted to be able to make a difference. I didn't want to just complain about stuff. I wanted to get out there and see if I could make a difference in people's lives. I remember days when, these kinds of things happened to me where we had crosses placed at our bus stop from the Klan. This is in Twin Lake, Michigan, between Twin Lake and Holton. I remember days when, this is going to sound pretty blunt, and if people don't want to hear this, cover your ears, called nigger every day when I was in 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, for the first several weeks of school. Didn't want me there. So I come from a background where people ask me why I'm so passionate about this. My dad couldn't vote in his home state, which is why he moved away from Tennessee and moved to Michigan. And even though I'm describing the experiences that we had, he would have had a much more difficult experience growing up if he'd stayed in Tennessee when fought for the U.S. Army in pre-World War II times. That's how committed he was to this country. And he wanted to fight to make sure that people like all of us were able to live a good life and not have to deal with the kinds of things that unfortunately we still deal with. So I say one of the reasons that I said this is a good day for me is that I just couldn't reconcile, friends of mine sharing that having a president who described members of the Klan were people who would be so negative, racist, and otherwise as good people, repeatedly. And having to pull that information out of him. Now, understand that, not everyone who supported the current president believes that. Most of them don't. But if you're marginal line, if the most important issue to you is not me or you or anyone who looks like me walking down the street, and even to this year, having to literally defend myself against racists, then we'll have to disagree. We'll just have to disagree. That's why I earned that PhD in public policy, because I wanted to be able to not just complain about stuff. I wanted to be able to share that message and have a little bit of background. So yeah, I'm Kamala's president guy. I'm community activist guy. I'm independent organization. I'm donor. But to me, I'm a human being who wants to be treated like a human being. And I just, I'll just say that the change that's taking place today for me is a good thing.
Wow. Well, we know Governor Whitmer is a attorney general. She's qualified to be attorney general. She was a prosecutor. She's a lawyer. I wonder if he's gonna tap her to be his attorney general. She delivered for him. She delivered Michigan. I'm sure Stacey Abrams got to have a position in that cabinet somewhere. She delivered Georgia for him, and I know having Senator Harris on the ticket brought out a lot of women, and we've seen women around the country get elected first-time positions.
Oh, no doubt.
Wow. It's a very, very emotional day. It is. Watching
Yes, it is.
Van Jones on CNN talk.
Yeah,
talk,
yeah. Young man, you see, it's a crying shame that I'm not sure how old Van Jones is, but I'd put him at maybe 45, maybe. And for him to have to describe his life in the way that he did, I mean, he's the next generation down for me.
Right.
And he's going through the same issues that we have. Again, what I'll repeat is that, it may not be the most important issue that anyone has to deal with, exactly racism in terms of what Van Jones is discussing. But, if you're not Black, that's not one of the issues you wake up having to deal with. It's
Right.
just simply not. So that's one piece of the puzzle that is not taken off the plate, but at least it's incrementally better, I say, than it was a few months ago.
Right. Jay in Orlando says Stacey Abrams needs to run the DNC. Amen to that. Because who would have thought Georgia? Really?
Yeah.
Did you
Big
see that,
changes.
Dot? Did you see that
Yeah.
one coming?
Boy, I tell you what, I did not see that coming in from anywhere. I looked at the South as a solid block. And from a political perspective, and I was interviewed a couple of days ago as someone who spent his life using data to help inform my decisions. And I taught graduate level statistics. I run the numbers, but I did not see that coming. So but I mean, it's a thing of beauty when you see a politician who can who's savvy enough and knowledgeable enough to change the trajectory of politics in his or her state. I mean, you can look at someone like Stacey Abrams who made that difference. Or I'm thinking back in my, political career, you look at Ronald Reagan, where the nation was before he came into office. I didn't agree with everything that Reagan did, but boy, he from a political strategy perspective, he and the people around him, they had a message that they wanted to put out there. They had a goal, they set it, and they set incremental steps to get there, and they did that. So I mean, every once in a while, you'll see someone who's that good, and
Right.
Stacey Abrams she's one of those people. I'm impressed.
Right. Chauncey said we're dealing with a 1950. Chauncey Williams said we're dealing with a 1950s type of institutional racism. What are your thoughts on that, Dr. Dale?
Well, I mean, Chauncey is correct. I mean, I'll say it's much better from a statutory perspective. The laws have changed dramatically, but the law is just a part of the process, and institutions have to change in response to societal norms, societal expectations, and what different segments of society need to and deserve to be treated, or how they need to be treated in I guess depending on the time and history where we are. But yeah, I mean, it's still there, not where it used to be. But again, if you don't have to call me names to prove your belief system or Mr. Williams there,
Right.
to prove that he's subject to, say, I'm sure in my case, in your case, people walking into your office asking to see Dr. Nesbary, asking me, where's Dr. Nesbary? I was like, come on, man, where do you think he is? You're in his office, I'm sitting at his desk, am I just killing time or what?
Right.
And something like that happens. And so, yeah, I would say, I mean, that's an anecdotal case, but that happens all the time.
Right.
So actually, I should modify that. It hasn't happened in about 8 months because of COVID. So that's well, I guess.
So I think his name D-Raz Stark says Trump is crying in the bathroom. Trump is probably doing more than crying in the bathroom right now. He's
well, he's still. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sure they pumping him up with medication right now. They're getting him right because he probably haven't slept.
Well, if you listen to his supporters, he actually has some very strong political minds around him. And if he had actually listened to them and done what they suggested that he do, and apparently he didn't, I mean, just control the tweet and control the, I want to put myself out there stream of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he would have won, but I mean, he would have made up some of those millions of dollars. So yeah, he might be in the bathroom, but I guarantee you there were people around him saying, no, man, there's still a few things that you can do. And some of these things you probably should have done before, but there are still a few things you can do if you want to fight the game to the end. So hopefully he's not in the bathroom crying, but I mean, because he's, the election's essentially over, but there are still a few things he can do. You got to focus. If you're in politics, don't stop until the last minute, until every stone is turned.
Sandra Wyrick says it's been reported that he's golfing in Florida. Oh.
No, that's kind of harsh. So I tell you what, he golfed more than I did. I
think that's a joke. Like he's going golfing. Like he's going.
I golfed once this year. No. Wait. I didn't golf any this year. So I'm embarrassed to say for a guy who has some sticks in the basement. Nope. So the press got that one on me if that's where he is.
Right. But I know the game is coming up. I know this is last minute. Rob, anything before we go? Big Rob?
No.
All right, family. Doc, thank you for joining us impromptu. I want to get you back on Monday when we have some more people and more time. And I got to give it up to your Spartans, man. They did it on us last week.
Yeah, I think the thing is they were a lot better than people thought. I mean, if they run their defensive line at 6'6", 240 or 340, 6'4", 240, 6'4", 220. I mean, those are the big boys, and they've had them all along. Just had some unmotivated coaching from Mike as a proud Spartan alum. I think they needed a little motivation. And Mel Tucker, with a great coach's name, and Rocky Lombardi. If your name was Rocky Lombardi, you better win every game you play.
Right.
So he was born to play football. So we'll see how they do this week, and good luck to the Wolverines too, because I hate to see. I mean, they're not my first team, but they got to take care of Indiana.
We got to get it together, man. It's gonna be tough.
Yes, sir.
Got to get it together. I'm gonna go blue all the way, but we got to get it together.
Yes. Well, I said go green.
So y'all down. You guys are down 07. You say Rocky just threw an interception. Thanks, Chauncey.
Oh no. Okay. Well, we'll catch you fellas later. Thanks a lot.
All right, Doc. Take care.
Bye.